Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farmville. You could go over it with a cultivator. I think the cultivator we got is a disc harrow cultivator. The plow that we've got, though, is not a standard plow anymore. We've now got the disc plow, and that one you could go over this with a disc plow, because the disc plow operates differently. It doesn't plow as deep, and it chops up the surface material more, so that one would actually be able to cope with this kind of stuff. So we kind of got a couple of options in how we should deal with this field, and if I'm going to try and do this at least a little bit realistically, then we want to be doing one of those options. We don't want to just leave the field as it is and go over it with a direct drill, because that almost certainly wouldn't happen. I'm not saying it's definitely not going to happen, because I can guarantee that somewhere someone will actually do that, but I'm saying that for getting things to run efficiently and well, you almost certainly wouldn't do that, because when you're going through a really high stubble like this, all that plant being left behind, if you're going through with a direct drill, all that's going to be happening is you're going to be ripping out all of these plants, and they're going to be building up in front of the drill, and you're just going to be left with kind of like mounds of this stuff in front of your drill, which is going to cause all manner of problems and headaches, and it's just going to be a real jolly nuisance, and you're not going to want to do it. So you would do something. You go over with a topper, with a mulcher, something like that, cultivate it down in, so if you use some kind of disc cultivator or disc plow to chop it all up, anything to cut up the material prior to going and doing the next step. So we'll have a look at the machines that we've got. I don't know if we would actually, I mean, maybe we could buy a mulcher. Like, having to mulch one crop in a year is nothing really. Like, that's not going to be much of an issue for us. We shouldn't have any issues with that. Let's put you on round here. Drop that one in. We haven't got much left, so we'll get everything into the one tank nice and easily. The sorghum, this field here after sorghum is going to be planted with wheat. That's going to be planted next month, so we've got to do the edges of the field here, and then we've got to do the edges of the field right up the very... Actually, I don't know about the one at the top end. I don't know if we're going to have to do that one or not. But we do need to do this field down here, because this one's going in... we're not going to need to do the ones at the other end, are we? Not at all. So sorghum is the bottom crop, so then wheat comes next, and that is being planted in September. Barley goes after wheat. Well, that's further up the road, on the other side of the road. That's fine. And the canola is being planted at the moment. Those are the 3 winter crops. The others... So it's only this field here that we want to do something to and prepare ready for planting the wheat. So this one has to be cultivated or mulched. We're going to want to do the work along the edge so that we don't have the bad edge of the field that we're going to be trying to get rid of all the way up through. We've talked about that in previous videos, so we do have a realistic justification for doing that. It is something that you would do. Right? If you had fields with that kind of stuff, you would go along and you would tidy up the edges so that your machines would be able to get through without too much issue. Really? I wasn't in front. You just stopped right in front of me. Now I got another car. I got a car coming the other way now. Now I'm just annoyed. Right, you know what? You should have waited up there. Say goodbye to your windscreen. That's probably not the best way to behave when you're driving up and down the road with a combine. But, well, I am what I am. Okay, I'm going to put that back to dropping a straw swath before I forget. Otherwise, I'm going to start the next field and it's just going to be left as a straw swath. So, this trailer load here, best time of year to be selling that is canola. Oh, here we go. Is November, actually. So, not now. Anyway, that's the important thing, is not now. So, this is going to go back to storage, and then I will come back and get the other bit of grain that we got. That's the sorghum. That'll be taken in there to the mill and turned into flour. And then our last thing to go and do, pretty sure I just swiped that guy's mirrors right off the side of his van. Really sorry, dude. Contact the insurance company. We'll deal with it. Don't worry. Bring you in around here. Like that. And that can go into storage. We'll hold on to it. And then we've got the sorghum. The planting has finished over there, or at least most of it. We'll just go and have to tidy that up. And then we can get started on doing the... Well, we got hay that we want to make. And we've also got straw in the field that we're going to want to do to bale up. That's about it then, I think. We've got the baling to do with the straw. Well, it's only this little bit here, so we can leave that for a minute. We'll get, when we get the baler on for baling up the hay, we can do that one as well. We'll do both of them together because the fields are right next to each other. And I don't think there's anything else we need to worry about at the moment. Let's get you unloaded here. 9,890 litres of sorghum have gone in there, and we will run this down to the mill, start getting that processed. It's also going to turn into flour. And then... just bring you in there. When this is done... Well, the flour, that sells like the end of December, doesn't it? It says January is the best time to sell it, but actually it's usually the end of the previous month is the best time to sell it. Whatever it actually says on any of those things. So let's go to you right there, and then sorghum flour is the one that we're wanting. Manure right here. So electric charge, I got 1,500, and the methane I've got 8. So we'll get some money out of that soon. And then these two up here. Well, we'll keep this one. The way that I'm going to do this is that we'll prioritize keeping the big plant full. Like, this one does 24 cycles in a month for slurry, yeah? So 24 times the 200. This one down here does 2,400 cycles in a month, which is slightly insane. And this is also why I feel I've been told that it might be considered a little bit overpowered compared to some of the other things. Now, because we've got this massive amount of throughput on these, it would be very tempting to go and sell the standard 99 kilowatt biogas plant. I'm not going to do that. Absolutely not. That kind of feels like we would be taking it a step too far and generating money out of nowhere where we, like, in a situation where we shouldn't be, right? I don't feel that we should be giving in to that particular temptation. Charming though it would be to have that large sum of money suddenly turn up in our bank account, we will resist. We will absolutely resist. Now, what have we got in the way of cultivating? So we've got a cultivator over there that we could perhaps use. This is a disc harrow cultivator. That would actually be quite suitable for working the field. So rather than buying a mulcher, which is going to be difficult because we don't have any money, if we were to take that one down there, we could use that and cultivate in that stubble that we've got. So I think that's what we're going to do in that situation. I'll bring this trailer around. That can go back into the shed over there for now. And then we'll get that cultivator on and we'll run down there. I also want to be starting on the mowing, so I'm going to get the cultivator on. I'm not going to run down to the field with the cultivator just yet. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come back with the big tractor, get the mowers on, and we will start on the mowing. I know I shouldn't be doing that. I should move the seed drill out of the way first. Would be the better way to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this tractor, I will finish out any bits that have not been done by the seed driller minutes. So it's like a few bits down along this end that I can see. And once I've done this seed drill can go back. I'll put the mowers onto this tractor, go out to that field, and I will start doing the mowing. Once we've got the mowing underway, the hired help can carry on and do that job, and then we can come back, we can get the cultivator, we can take that down to the sorghum field, and we can cultivate out that field, or at least get the outside rounds done, and we can have the hired help working on there. While the hired help is working on that field, I can then start working on cutting the trees down along the edge of that field and just tidying up the very edges. We're going to want a plow. Now that I think about it, it might be better to just take a plow down with us. Is there anything here? Oh, there is one little bit right there. Look. See? I think it would be better if we were to take a plow with us rather than try and do it any other way, because we're going to need the plow down there in order to re-establish the edges of the field, and the disc plow would be the perfect tool for cutting up the stubble, although it's whether or not I want to use the disc plow for marking out the edge of a new field. It might be that we want to use the other plow for that particular job, because the other plow is, I think, better suited to it, not being a trailed one. The disc plow is really good, but because it's a trailed one, you've got less accuracy when it comes to marking out the edge of a field. And for that job, I would like to have as much accuracy on it as possible. So, okay, I've just talked myself out of doing the plowing. We will stick with our original plan of using the cultivator. Do that right there, and then we can go over here and get this mower hooked on. As soon as I got that one, I can race over to the grass field over there. One thing I want to find out in a minute is how much we're going to get from the BGA over here. So I got the manure right in there. The cows at the moment, they've only got like 4,500 litres of slurry, so we don't need to worry about that. Go back to here. All I want to do is see what we get. So we've got 1,525 for electric charge, and we've got 8 for the methane. And I'm going to skip forward until we get to 11. And there's our money gone in. We lost 252 in wage payments, but we gained about 2 grand we got from that. Have a look. Because it won't just have been that. There'll also have been a bit from this one up here as well, which is in the process of processing. And this one here, okay, so we're putting slurry through, so I'm going to activate the slurry, and I'm going to leave the manure one activated as well. That's costing us 120 a month. Because this is processing so high, I put it to you that something that is able to have this kind of throughput is going to have background costs even when the machine is not running at all. And so for that reason, I'm going to leave both of these running so that we incur those background costs. I feel that that's probably a good way of doing it. I am seriously considering activating all of these and leaving them running, but I'm going to leave that for a minute. Get into the comment section and tell me what you think. This one is OP. Like, this is an overpowered machine, especially when you line it up against this really big BGA and you look at the quantities and the numbers involved. So in order to offset those costs, do you think that it would be fair for me to activate the other 5 items on here and have those running? So there's 5 extra, and ignore that I'm getting 120 a month go out for this. If I was to activate the other 5, that's going to be 360 euros a month going out just to run the BGA. Be 480 altogether for the other 2 lines, but I'm hoping to be utilizing those at least a little bit most days. So kind of not too worried about the overall cost of those 2 lines. But all of it all together, do I add the other 360 a month or not? Is that a fair cost for having such a powerful BGA plant over there and the money coming back from it? So I want to try and achieve that balance. Like, some of the things that we're having are completely realistic. Some of the things that we're having are definitely not. Like the quick bale that we've got over there now. That one goes an awful lot faster. I'm okay with having that one because of the time that it saves us when we're doing anything. And I appreciate that it may not necessarily be for everybody, but at the same time, the time that we're saving is, a lot of it is the time that I cut out of videos, and I'd rather cut out less of it, and I can do that by having the faster baling. But let's start this all up, and then lower it all down. Never does it the first time. You do Control B to start everything up, Control X to unfold everything, it's fine. You do Control V to lower everything down, and it just doesn't do it. You have to do it twice the first time. It's only ever the first time round. After that, it's usually fine. So, what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to go twice around the outside edge of the field, and then I will set the hired help going, and the hired help can do the rest of it while we go and do this other work. We've got quite a few other things that we want to go and do. Although, to be honest, I could probably just do once around the field and let the hired help carry on. And then if there's any bits that are left over afterwards, we'll just come back and we'll tidy those up. Like, I don't think that's going to matter very much. That's what we'll do. We'll just do once around, like this, as we are right now. And then once I've done that, I can go and get the other tractor. We can head down to the field. We want to start the cultivating down there so that we're getting rid of the excess crop stubble that is left from that sorghum, and then we're also going to do the work along the edge of the field on just that one field. And then once we've done that, we can sort of tidy everything up. We'll then need to take a plow down there and just plow out the edge. And I have got that header trailer left there, but that's just off the edge of the field, so it's not going to be an issue for us. Get around that one, and we're going to need to put the combine away. I think I've left it running, actually. So even if I don't go and put it away, it'd probably be a good idea if I go and switch the thing off, because diesel ain't cheap. Right, how am I going to do this then? I reckon if I raise both of them up, rather than just one. There we go. Like that. Then I will go back over this way, and I will go into here like this. So I've got a little bit more distance between me and the fence for the BGA right there. I'm also going to just tidy up this bit here. Actually, I'll just do that with the front one in a minute. Because of the angle that the mower will be pulled round, that should be fine. Bring you back like that. And now I will see if I can get this one lined up in order to be able to do this mowing right here. So if I go something like that, bring you up there. Let me try hired helping that one. Now, is the hired help going to be able to cope with it? He should be alright for turning round there. It's whether or not he's going to be able to cope with turning round on the fence and the other way. Because, like, there's a lot of running over the grass, like the way that it spins round and everything. It does take it a little while to kind of line up and figure out what it's doing because of the trailed mower that we've got on the back. But I'm hoping that it will... Like, this bit here is fine, and I fully accept that we're going to have bits left, and we'll want to run around and tidy that up afterwards. It's this side I'm curious about. Is the fence going to cause us a problem? I don't know. Go to there, and he's going to back up. Nope, it shouldn't do. Alright, okay, we will trust that that one can carry on and do what it needs to do. Right, ooh, I didn't want to turn that one off. We'll trust that that one can carry on and do what it wants to do. I've got a combine right here. I've got crops down this way that we're going to be wanting to do something with. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get that header that we've got there, the header trailer. I'm going to hook that one on. So it was wheat is in that field, which means that that field is going to be barley next. This one here was oats, so this is not going to have anything done to it until the spring, which means that we can just leave both of these over here. So I'll just unhitch the trailer and leave it there. We will lower the header down like that and leave that one there. So this can stay here in this field until we're ready to do that bit of harvest there. And this is quite a normal, realistic thing to go and do on any farm anywhere. Probably won't leave it next to the road for an entire month, but I have seen combines left in different areas, different places for a week or two, because it's much better to do that than it is to try and transport the thing back to the farm and then back out to the field again a week later, or 2 weeks later. So we're assuming that it's going to be, well, actually I think it's going to be a bit more than a week, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. You get the point. The idea is that it should be okay to just park it up somewhere and leave it. We can put covers over the windscreen and everything as well. A lot of people for combine storage, sort of more long-term, or even just for like a week or two, they have covers and they'll put those over the windows and that to avoid them getting damaged in any way. So we would also most certainly go and do that as well. Oh, that's our field there, isn't it? Field 7, the corn on the side. I was wondering. I was thinking, am I missing a crop? But I'm not. I forgot that field 7 there is actually our field, and I should probably look at the road rather than looking sideways at field 7. Okay, let me go here, and then I can unfold this one. And we will cultivate this field so that we're getting rid of this stubble. Now, I realise that if I was to go and buy a mulcher, or even just lease a mulcher, it would actually give us a little bit of additional goodness going into the soil, rather than us doing this, which is getting rid of any... I'm talking about gameplay purposes now, purely on gameplay. Like, we know in real life that this would actually be adding goodness into the soil, but if I do this... and then we've got the mulched bit right there. You don't get mulched in here. And also, we don't have any fertilizer coming back from this either. So I'm literally just I'm mulching it, but I'm skipping the step of using a mulcher, which I suppose we should really go and use one. I'll have a think about that. At the moment, we're just going to cultivate it up. We're not going to worry about it. We're not going to read too much into the layer of fertilizer, because honestly, the layer of fertilizer that you would get from the plants being cultivated in is not all that great. So it's definitely not the same as a full coat of fertilizer that we would normally go and put on. So I'm not going to worry about that. I know that some... whether it's the mods that add in the layer of fertilizer if you chop the straw, I'm not quite sure. I think it is. I think it's the... is it the chop straw mod? Something like that. Anyway, we'll do this. So this tree right here next to me here, that one is going to be cut down, and then there's another one a bit further along that we'll cut down, and then we're going to use the landscaping tools to level this bit here. We'll sort of go along and try and smooth that down a little bit so we haven't got this kind of curve on the edge of the field. And we're going to do that all the way up through, and then we will redo the edge of the field using the standard plow rather than the disc plow, because I feel like we'll be able to have better control over it and have a better job at the end of it if we do it like that. Let's get you up through here. Absolutely not driving backwards with that cultivator in the ground, because that would have just destroyed those tines. Which I thought it was tines on the back. It's not. It's a wheel. So we've just got... oh, no, there is some tines in there. There's some tines just in front of the wheels. Alright, so yeah, it would destroy the tines if you were to reverse it with it in the ground. You wouldn't do that. That's just not a thing that you would do. That's just a ridiculous move. We will do once more around the edge of the field, and then once I've done that, I can leave the hired help to carry on with this bit, and I can start working on removing those trees and the other bits. And then we've also got the other hired help whizzing up and down doing our grass cutting for us, which is absolutely fantastic. And I want 2 lots here because I'm hoping then that... Totally not cultivating up the road, by the way. I'm hoping that with this extra bit of gap here, I won't have the tractor driving down and smacking into the fence every time when he gets to the end of the row down here. Because we all know that that is something that the hired help likes to do. For some strange and unknown reason, the hired help sees a fence, and instead of thinking, I should probably stop before that one, it just looks at it and says, challenge accepted, and then plows right into it. Which, quite frankly, I think is a disgusting way to behave, and I don't think it should be allowed. I don't think that this is... It absolutely should not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. I know that technically I don't need to do this all the way around the field because I'm doing the... let's take you over there so the hired help can get started. There we go. I don't need to do this all the way around because I'm like digging that bit up over there, but I just thought that it would probably work out better, and that's something that irritates me with the hired help. Like, they get started, and then they get to the end of the first row, and they're like, you know what, yeah, I can't be bothered with this job, and they just pack up and go home. Like, what's the matter with you? If you've signed up to do a job, Sonny Jim, you stay there and you finish the job. I'm not putting up with this nonsense about just going home because you're bored. That's unacceptable behaviour. Alright, what are you going to do here? Are you going to go all the way down to the end of the field? I think the reason that it did it was because it started driving towards where he was going to turn in, and then once he sort of reached the point where he was supposed to stop to turn in, he realised that he was out on the road, or at least too close to the road, and decided he didn't like that, so that's why he just packed up and went home instead, because the road scared him. See, they drive really fast now towards the bit where they want to go, and then they try and stop and do that. But at least he's turning round. Sort of. Now what are you doing? What was the point in driving all the way down there if you're not... Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.